another chance to catch this. In case you're wondering who's the realest. The name unforgettable.
The Dream 3 podcast, episode number 46. It's been about a month, but we're back and we're excited because we got a lot of stuff to talk about. Let's get into it. We're pumped to be back, man. It's been over a month. Excited to get back on the pod, talk some stuff.
You were on vacation. I was on vacation.
Work, children, the whole shebang-a-bang. Life gets in the way of the podcast sometimes, but it's glad to be back and glad to keep talking about some things. We got
all right, listeners. You hear that? Don't have kids. They
Don't
take your
have
life
kids.
away.
They're expensive. They scream. Luckily, mine is asleep right now, so we'll see how long that lasts. But we got a lot to talk about. We're back. Man, I don't know where you want to start, but you could throw a dart anywhere.
Yeah, it's been a long time. I can't even remember the last time we talked. Probably like week 4 or 5 of the NFL season, so it's been a while.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think since we last talked, NBA, NHL started. Is that right?
Yep.
I don't think they've been going that long. So, I think we're in the time where, well, I mean, the Astros won the World Series. I don't really care. I hate baseball. The Astros suck. They're a bunch of cheaters. They'll always be a bunch of cheaters, so I really don't care.
I'll be honest. The only reason why I even knew that the World Series was going on was the Mattress Mac bet, the $75 million.
Yeah. Yeah, that's... I find it hard to gamble $1 on NFL games. So I can't imagine putting money out like that.
We can get into that because your boy has had some rough times over these last couple weeks sports betting, especially big time parlays. We can get into that.
Yeah. But NHL, NBA are back. Honestly, I think football still drives the market. But it's nice to see some other games going on. I watch hockey every night. You know, every time the Avs are playing, I watch. But I've been like that for 4 or 5 years, especially now when they have that ESPN contract, so you can watch all the NHL games.
Yep.
It just makes it easier for someone who follows their team. So I've enjoyed that. NBA wise, Steph Curry threw up 47 points last week. I don't know why people I don't know why people think anybody other than the Golden State Warriors are going to win a title. Nobody got better to the point that I think they're going to beat the Golden State Warriors. Plus, Golden State has all their players back who weren't healthy last year, and they're getting better. So, I just until someone comes up and just starts playing much better, you know, maybe the Bucks. Definitely not the Lakers. Woof, that's a trash town.
And definitely not, trash. And Brooklyn has turned into a complete dumpster fire.
Yeah, Kyrie, I mean, I think there was a couple of ESPN shows where they talked about every team that Kyrie's been to over the last 6 years has turned into an absolute just tank. It just tanked at the end of the year. And it's not going to be anything else this year. I mean, he's already starting to do the same thing that he's done in years past. So, Brooklyn's trash. It's going to be Milwaukee. It's going to be Golden State. The NBA, I feel like the NBA is just boring now. Is it me or is it just like...
There's nothing that drives the market. There's nothing that's helping the NBA. Like, it's all controversy. That's the only thing keeping the NBA in the news.
Yeah, I agree. I think, okay, cool. Like, at least from like talking with Alex and Justin, like they're very big on SGA and watching Shy play.
Mm-hmm.
But when is he going to play some meaningful games? When are they going to make the playoffs? Stuff like that. Zion's back, cool, but everybody's honestly just waiting on the edge of their couch seat, their couch cushions, just waiting for him to get injured again. So I don't know. It's NFL season. You and me are both NFL guys. So
I'll tell you what I am watching early in the mornings now that I'm really into is Premier League soccer. Like I'm enjoying getting up and watching Premier League soccer on Sundays.
How much have you paid attention to Holland? Have you
Dude,
watched any of his games?
he's a monster.
Yeah, yeah. I
Dude,
think last time.
he's had the same amount. He's had, is it the same amount or tied Cristiano Ronaldo's hat trick record in the first like 12 games he played, or the first like 6 games? And
I think you're right. I think he
Ronaldo
has
was like
as many hat
180
tricks as
games.
yeah, as many as Ronaldo had in all his time in EPL.
And it's crazy to see how far like Man U has fallen. Like they are absolute dog water now.
They're awful.
But just to watch that, and we've talked a lot this year about World Cup soccer. I'll tell you that a lot of my collection is starting to become soccer. I'm not super deep into it, but I enjoy getting these, these no-name cards and or finding these $2-3 deals and grading them, and then somehow they turn out to be worth $70.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been kind of interesting to follow a different sport. I'm not into it like Josh is. Like I'm not super balls deep into it, but it's fun. And especially with SGC prices going down and 3-day turnarounds thanks to slab stocks. I think that's fun and kind of where my game plan is at.
Yeah. Now, leading into this, just because you've already kind of pushed that sector, World Cup, right? Have you put any money into USA players for the World Cup?
Well, I did at the beginning of the year. Not huge amounts of money. I think I have.
Or Josh,
yes. Especially, I believe Pedro, who didn't make the team.
Ricardo Pepe.
Yeah, Ricardo Pepe didn't make the team.
Yeah, I saw some posts from Josh, and I haven't had a chance to text him yet, but I would imagine he is pretty pissed off.
He has actually. Let me read a text that he sent me today. So no Pepe, no P-Funk for USA. So
and no Zach Steffen.
And yeah. Well, the only person that I don't even say invested in, but the only person that I really have cards of is Pulisic. And it's not like
he's Captain America. So
yeah, and it's not like I'm deep in Pulisic. It's like 2-3 cards that are, a couple $100 each. It's not like they're super killers, but Captain America, you think if USA does anything or he hits, he gets a couple goals, you would think the noise moves everything up.
I would agree. I think soccer in its state of the market now is very much relevant, and it will be relevant once the World Cup comes. It's not a great time in the market for a World Cup to be, because usually it's in the summer, which actually probably would be better off for soccer specifically in that sector. But I mean, there's still some interesting World Cup plays, I think, now that I didn't anticipate happening or not happen or happening, or things that have just kind of fallen off, like the Pepe. I know a lot of people, and what I've talked over the summer and the spring, a lot of people were kind of buying Pepe thinking, okay, maybe he gets a chance to prove himself in the World Cup, and he didn't. He gets snubbed out of that. The big one that got announced, I believe it was earlier today, Mokoku for Germany got selected to the German team.
Yeah.
And Timo Werner did not because of injury. Yeah. So that puts Mokoku in a prime position at 17 years old to potentially make a name for himself, like we saw Mbappe did, 4 years ago at the 2018 World Cup.
And he's scoring goals in his league right now. It's not like he's just some, run-of-the-mill guy. Like he's getting, shots on goal and making them.
Yeah, he's putting numbers up, and I that's the big thing. And I think from the aspect of soccer, I mean, there's not a lot of scoring. So when you do score a lot and you are the prime scorer of your team, you're going to get a lot of the looks. And I anticipate that's probably going to be him for Germany. They'll also have Kai Havertz, so I think those two working together will fuel some fire for each other.
Yeah. Yep.
Moving forward. Looking at Brazil's national team, I think they got a lot of talent up front. Just literally just looking up and down and kind of seeing what it looks like. On top of that, France. Let's talk about Mbappe.
That's going to be tough. France is riddled with injuries.
Yeah, Pogba's not playing. And Conte's not playing. N'Golo Conte's not playing because of injury. I think they have a couple of their defenders not playing because of injury as well. So Mbappe could, it could be a sell before the World Cup just because you don't know what's going to happen to those guys. Are we asleep?
No, we just woke up. Look, you can be on the podcast too.
That's right. Welcome. Wesley Sports Podcast.
Welcome, Wesley. Look, that's you.
You see your big old chunky face? Oh, no.
Oh, you're fine. Look.
Boo. Hey, I'm just as ugly. Don't worry about me. You're the cute one here.
Yeah. See? You see yourself. Say hi, Neil. Say hi.
Boo.
Say hi.
Yeah, from a World Cup, I don't know if you heard what I was talking about.
Yeah.
It could be a sell on Mbappe right now just because that France team doesn't look very good. So
I think so. I think you got to dump Mbappe like 10 days before the World Cup just to break even.
Yeah, the game. I forget who's all in their group, but I think right around maybe England, when England plays USA, that's going to be a big one for the American market. And the American market really kind of drives, I guess, soccer as a whole just because of cards in America. But that'll be a big game. If you can get it around there and try and sell off, maybe that's the best thing you can do.
Mm-hmm.
But
thank you. Jeez.
From that aspect, World Cup could get interesting. I'm excited at least to watch something different. So we'll see how the World Cup goes.
Yeah, I'm excited, and I got a bunch of stuff of. I haven't picked up any of the new World Cup stuff yet, but I got a lot of just random things that I've bought in over time. That we'll see what happens.
Yeah,
it'll be fun. But
right.
I do have one Mukoku that I have right now is set at 15 grand. If he makes a big run, boy,
you could see some movement there. I'm sure Josh is tied up plenty in Mukoku, and he's seen Mukoku.
Actually, no, he's not. I'm the Mukoku guy. That's my number. That is my my soccer go-to. I'm trying to get all the Mukoku I have. The card that I have, he actually passed on at the Indiana trade show.
Midwest Monster?
No, it wasn't at the Monster. It was at the one on the south side.
Oh, okay.
So,
yeah.
In the hotel. So
yeah.
I texted as soon as he was leaving. I texted him about it. He goes, "Yeah, I saw it." And it's a rookie Mukoku Top Stadium Chrome gold out of 10. The guy didn't really give me a deal on it. I bought it for what he wanted. But then I sent it to grade, and it's a SGC 10.
So, that's big. That's big. Yep, that's tens do not hurt. They do not hurt. Yeah, I might have to buy some Mukoku and just kind of see where that goes.
Yeah, I think he's got some cheap slabs. You can get some Chrome PSA 10s still in the hundreds right now. But I think as we get closer, and if he gets a little bit of coverage, they're going to go through the roof. He's going to be the Mbappe.
A lot of people like Germany. Germany's usually a team that's going to make it to the quarters or the semifinals. They're usually like a top 8, top 4 team. So from that aspect, they're usually pretty sound technically. I wouldn't be surprised if they make it that far and he gets a little steam going. So yeah, I might have to get some Mukoku. Did a little soccer before, but I don't know. Thinking about it. All right, NFL. Your Colts suck. My Rams suck worse. Stafford's in concussion protocol. You fired your head coach and you hired your former Hall of Fame center
with no coaching experience.
With no coaching experience as your head coach.
And an OC who was an assistant to the head coach 3 years ago and who has never called plays.
Yeah,
because there's nobody.
The only plays he's ever called is in Madden 2022.
There's nobody on the active roster, coaching roster, who has ever called plays in an NFL game.
Well, that sucks for you guys. I still think you guys win against the Raiders on Sunday.
I think so. I think the Raiders are pretty trash. We get Jonathan Taylor back. Matt Ryan practiced this week, even though Sam's the quarterback. Sam gives you a better, he's not a veteran, but he gives you that RPO action if that's the
He gives you versatility, not necessarily productivity.
Yeah, if that's the type of playbook that you want to run, you put Sam in there. I can understand the benching of Matt Ryan, the amount of fumbles he's had this year, the amount of takeaways. Some of it's his fault. Some of it is that trash-ass O-line that's giving up 9 sacks a game or whatever.
You know what? I don't want to hear about the O-line because we struggle with the same thing. Okay. So
yeah, but your O-line also isn't making $41.5 million. Total.
They're making they're not making $41.5 million, but they're making pretty close to that. And they're all injured.
So I put the blame on the organization as a whole.
That's fair.
I think now Irsay's getting involved, where in the past he's kind of let everybody do their things. Now he's going to turn into a Jerry Jones-esque. I think Chris Ballard has been a cheap ass his entire stay. Perfect case in point. He let defensive tackle for the now Titans, D'Amico Autry, walk over $200,000. And now D'Amico Autry has like 6 sacks against the Colts this year and has basically slapped up Quentin Nelson like nobody's business. We've completely ignored the left tackle situation. Eric Fisher, we knew was hurt, was not going to be the same guy he was. He got drafted in 2014. Matt Pryor, I don't know where this guy comes from, where he played football. He should not be in the NFL, let alone, Mr. Nealon couldn't be blocked by him. Like, it's terrible. The quarterback situation, pull the Band-Aid off. We're going to be screwed no matter what. I say we tank the rest of the season, get a real quarterback out of the draft, and then, start fighting your way back up. I don't think Bryce Young is the quarterback that everyone thinks he is. I think there's an injury.
I don't think so either.
I think there's an injury issue there once he gets to the NFL.
Don't take CJ Stroud. Do not take CJ Stroud.
I don't see TJ Stroud or CJ Stroud either. I like the quarterback from Kentucky.
Will Levis,
yes.
Yeah, I think he brings kind of this the ability to push the ball, to make the throws. You can correct some of the decision making if he chooses to grow up, but I think there's potential there. There is potential there.
But we got to tank, boys. Let's tank.
If you're gonna tank now, because it's not looking bleak. But man, Jonathan Taylor just needs to give me some fantasy points. That's all I can say.
Here, the problem is I know I should have known this, and I thought about it before the season start. Like, you're always down for an injury your second year. It always happens. And I should have saw it coming, and I didn't. And it's just
biting you in the butt.
Yeah, I drafted him first overall, which was terrible.
Yeah. I'm with you on that. Well, your Colts suck, but could be better days ahead of you. Right now, the Rams can't run the ball. We have no O-line. Our quarterback's in concussion protocol. We have Cooper Kupp, and unless Cooper Kupp starts running the ball, throwing the ball to himself, I don't see us winning much more games. Defensively, we're fine, But man, our offense is absolutely atrocious. Absolutely just bad. Just bad.
Yeah. The nickname going around the league is Sam Gofford.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, bring back Jared Goff. Well, I mean, because Stafford just, I don't know what is in his brain right now. He's like reverting back to his old Detroit Lions Stafford days. But it is what it is. Let's talk about this. NFL surprises. Okay, Seahawks. What are they? 6-2.
Yeah.
Seahawks or 6-3. Seahawks are 6-3. The Giants are 6-2.
The Jets.
Yep.
The
Jets are
Vikings.
6-3. The Vikings are 7-1. You have the Eagles at 8-0, which I did not expect that. I had Jalen Hurts out the wazoo, and I told you about it. I had Jalen Hurts out the wazoo before,
Sold it.
and I sold them right around the season because I knew they would do well, and they have just taken off, absolutely taken off. And I believe he's the MVP frontrunner, right?
Yep.
And then Mahomes is second. But here's something. So, as the playoffs stand today, right? Here's what the NFC looks like, okay? You have the Eagles at the top. You have the Vikings at 2, okay? The Seahawks are at 3. And then, who's at 4? Who am I missing? Oh, the Buccaneers are at 4.
Bucks, yeah.
Bucks are at 4. You have then the Dallas Cowboys at 5, Giants at 6, and at the 7 you have the San Francisco 49ers. If I'm looking at this from the Buccaneers' perspective, they have played terribly so far.
And still are in a pretty good spot.
But first matchup, they play at home. They would play against, what is it, Geno Smith? Or or not Geno Smith. They would be playing against Danny Dimes.
I'll take that matchup all day.
Yeah, so he moves on to the second round. Let's say the Niners at the 7 seed end up beating the 2 seed Vikings, right? Kirk Cousins versus Jimmy Garoppolo in primetime. I'd see Garoppolo winning out. So now you have Garoppolo playing against the Eagles. You have the Bucks probably playing against Geno Smith in the second round. Brady against Geno Smith. Chalk me up for Brady again.
Yeah.
Then in the conference final game, as it stands today, it would probably end up being Jimmy Garoppolo versus Brady. Who are you taking in that?
I'll take Brady all day.
So you're telling me at 4-5, and they've played like absolute crap. The Bucks basically are. I mean, they have to go through Geno Smith, Daniel Jones, and Jimmy Garoppolo to get to a Super Bowl.
That's right up Tom Brady's alley.
Is Tom Brady a buy right now? Like it seems too easy. We've seen this year in and year out where it's just like the road for Tom Brady to another Super Bowl. It's right there.
It's right in front of him. It's too easy for him. It's laid up.
It is laid up. Good thing I'm holding some nice Bradys. That might be something I might pick up on. Well, this Friday or this Saturday, UFC. We have Izzy versus Alex Pereira. His what? What would you call him? The kryptonite?
Kryptonite in what are we, in kickboxing? Cool.
Yes.
Here's the problem. We're fighting MMA. I hope you enjoy getting freaking taken down.
Yes. I'm all for Izzy trying to win. I don't know what Alex can, other than the kickboxing and the stand-up game, can challenge Izzy. Does he have anything to remotely of a clinch game or a ground game to be able to work and beat Adesanya?
No. So I have 2 predictions. I have Adesanya by unanimous decision or Adesanya by TKO in round 3.
Why? Ground
I-
and pound, TKO.
Yeah, I think he clips him, goes to the ground. I don't think he's got the power to just straight up sleep him, but I think he can clip him, take it to the ground, and then finish it from there. Because Pereira's a big dude. These
Yeah,
two,
6'4", 6'4" is the exact same weight.
yeah, I mean
They're the exact same guys.
Yeah, they're exact same guys, but he looks a little thicker than
Yes, I would
Izzy.
agree.
But stylistically for MMA, Pereira's only had 7 MMA fights.
Mhm.
It's a different ball game
Inexperience.
than it's a different ball game than kickboxing, because kickboxing, it's is it 2-minute rounds or is it 3? And basically it's stand and trade. It's not a lot of movement, because one thing that you can do in MMA with 5-minute rounds is lull your partner to sleep. Like Izzy can do nothing for the first 2 rounds, and then when he wants to turn it up, the game plan might be getting Pereira just to chase him, just to get bored and just frustrate him, wait for him to do something stupid. So that's a possibility, where in kickboxing, it's all based on aggression and standing there and trading.
And I think what we've seen in the last few fights from Adesanya is he's developed the mental side of his game more so than the physical side of the game. Sticking to your tactics, sticking to your game plan, strategically being able to beat your opponent at their weaknesses. Now, he's drug it out to 5 minutes or 5 rounds and 1 unanimous decisions, basically just beating the crap out of his opponents. But he's becoming the artist. He's becoming an artist, not necessarily the knockout specialist.
He's not the finisher Anderson Silva was, but he has the same style.
Yes. I think if I were to compare stylistically, he's got better stand-up than GSP, but I think he fights a more technical game like GSP. GSP will pick you apart and then take you to 5 rounds because he's got the conditioning too. And I think that's kind of what Adesanya is learning, not to take the punches, but to grind out your opponent. And it's smart. It's the way you're supposed to. It's the maturation of UFC and the MMA.
So I think right now Izzy is a 215 or 230 favorite. Pereira is like 168. I have Izzy on my first bet. So that,
let's play devil's advocate here. How does Izzy get beat? Luck?
just like Anderson, he plays and gets caught.
I mean, that can happen. It's MMA. It's one punch. That's
Exactly.
One punch, one kick.
Anderson, played around with Chris Weidman, and got decked with left hook.
Man, if Anderson wouldn't have dicked around and just beat the crap out of Mike.
Speaking of, he did the exact same thing fighting Jake Paul. He screwed around for 3 rounds. When it's boxing, and if you just come forward and throw punches, dude wins the fight.
Do you think it should have been who controlled that fight more?
Controlling it, I would say Anderson, but aggressiveness, you would say Jake. Because, like I said, 2.5 rounds of Anderson, it was him dropping his hands, putting his chin forward and be like, hey, come on. When, dude, just come forward. Even if you just tap him to the body over and over and over, in the judges' minds, whether, it's still boxing, so it could be corrupt one way or another, aggressiveness wins, always. It doesn't matter what sport.
Yeah, I felt like, and I may be biased on this, but I felt like Anderson truly controlled the fight the way he wanted it to go. Now, obviously, you get caught right at the end of the last round. That changes a little bit in the scorecards, but unanimous decision for Jake Paul. I don't agree with it. I think if anything, it's a split decision because I think it was close.
I had Anderson down 2 rounds going into the final round.
Yeah, I think you could have called it either way, but I think it was closer than a split decision. But boxing is boxing, so you could have won. You could have won all the rounds, but for some reason, judges think the other way.
Let's go to the co-main event of UFC this weekend. I believe it's Wei Ling versus Carlos Esparza. That's going to be a bloody beat-down mess. Carla Esparza has no chance.
I would agree. Whaley's got, I think, way more talent. I think
And
Carla, since the
power.
beginning, power too. But I think from the beginning, Carla Esparza, even from her time where she, wasn't she in the Tough series?
Yeah. I think
When she won that Tough series, it was basically all on her ability to get to the ground and finesse on the ground, not because she could actually throw and fight.
Yeah.
So I think it's kind of a mismatch. Definitely a mismatch.
Frankie
Whaley.
Edgar's on the card. Frankie Edgar is going to get knocked out into retirement again.
Yes, he will. Just like Cerrone did. It's sometimes you just got to say goodbye.
Dan Hooker. So Dan Hooker's fighting on the card. It's a tough bet for me because I'm trying to make a parlay through the entire card. The problem is Dan Hooker is 1-5 in his last 6. So
Who's his only win against though?
I'd have to look to see who it was, but he's been in some freaking wars. The problem is do I trust his chin? Even he's fighting a guy who I think is 13-2 or 12-2 or something like that. That is, not terrible, but it's somebody who I really, really want to throw some money down on. So that fight and then the Michael Chandler fight, I'm kind of like,
man, Michael Chandler. I think he's still got something in the tank though. I think.
So both of those guys, Chandler and Poirier, have both been dropped in all their fights.
Yeah. But I mean, who was Michael's last fight? Who was Chandler's last fight? He's one. Is he 145?
It wasn't Tony, was it?
No. I don't think it was Tony. I can't remember.
It was, May 7th. He fought Tony. That was the super kick to the face.
Oh, yes. Okay, yes. I don't know. It's always tough, those last 3 fights. So like the main and the co-main are sometimes easy, but sometimes it's those
the middle. Yeah, the middle fights are really, really
middle
hard.
Fights are the ones that you don't know.
Except for Frankie Edgar. Frankie Edgar's
he's going to sleep.
Dude is that Sam
he's taking
Hagen,
a nap. He's bringing a pillow with him.
That Sam Hagen fight was, the end of the man's career. He should not be fighting anymore. So
agreed. Last thing, state of the hobby, state of the market. There's been some talk, and I don't know if you've noticed this, about the market just being down and negativity across the market, whether it's backyard breaks, whether it's people are losing money, things are getting pumped and dumped, market manipulation.
Everything seems so shady.
Economy is going down. I will say this, and I forgot to bring home my stats that I was going through today, but when you look at the period of the last 2 years of the card market, there's consistent ups and downs, and it usually has to do with either sports seasons, different events in sports seasons, or the time of the year. Generally, during the NFL draft, there's a lot of trades going on, so that tends to boost some of the market. And you can see that if you look at the card ladder, go through the CL50 index, you look at that, you look at ultra modern, you look at vintage, all this stuff. You see kind of the same trends. And it's across all sports as well. You see these initial bumps and these little spikes and little highs, and then during the summer it'll dip down a little bit low, and then it'll heat back up as it gets to the fall and football starts again. And then now we're in this time frame where it seems like everything's just going down. And I think people need to kind of pump the brakes and maybe try to not think about, oh, the market's down, it's going to crash, it's going to fall. Maybe you should start thinking about, okay, what is this what is cards to begin with? It was a hobby, okay? Before the COVID boom, before the card market boom, it was a hobby. It was always a hobby. Maybe we should get back to treating it that way. Stop worrying about, okay, the market's going to go down and the market's going to go up, or we need to buy here and buy there. Maybe just enjoy the ride for what it is, because we have a market where we have these tangible things that we can cling to and look at and enjoy, something that brings us, relationships to players or coaches or the game itself, the games that we love, the sports that we love. Maybe we should understand that this hobby is a hobby for a reason, and we should enjoy that. Is that Miss Rachel in the background?
Yes, it is. Miss Rachel
well-
is a lifesaver for babies.
Welcome to fatherhood, right? Never thought those overalls would save you so much time and effort, but they are a lifesaver. But yes, so the market is down. But I will say, just like you can see over the past 2 years, it's going to go down before the holidays. It's going to pick back up around the new year. You're going to see New Year's, new tax year for a lot of businesses, new buying for people who use this as their form of income. You're also going to see people start to put in their taxes, get tax returns, things like that. It'll pick back up in the spring. It usually does. But maybe this is your time where even if you pull back a little money, or you can invest a little more money, enjoy the hobby for what it is and collect the things that you enjoy and the things that you believe in, if you choose to invest that way. So I think there's too much negativity. Definitely needs to be more positivity out there.
I mean, I understand.
Look forward to in the hobby.
I understand a lot of the negativity part, and I watch a lot of sports card radio, and they do a good job of calling out guys in the hobby that are, pretty shady. We got a lot of stuff going on that doesn't seem right. The big thing was the backyard breaks. How are they hitting all these top tier cards? There's the repacks of the 86, 87 Fleer Jordans, where they're Frankenstein packs, and like the box that was pulled at the Nationals. Like, there's a sequence of cards. Like, people have done this long enough that the sequence of cards, and then you break down the video of the one at the Nationals, and you can tell that the packs have been repacked. Like, they were watching they were live streaming last night, watching a box break with I want to say it was DA Sports Cards, who did a 86, 87 Fleer pull with Spud Webb there. They pulled 3 Jordans. The first pack of the whole box had a Spud Webb in it, and the final pack of the box had a Spud Webb in it. And these are all boxes that come from Baseball Card Exchange, or that have been certified by Baseball Card Exchange, who infamously did the Logan Paul fake Pokemon box. Here's
another thing just to add to that. Baseball Card Exchange also is the one who certifies the packs that PSA grades. So
but they also have a thing
that.
where, let's say there's a pack that's damaged or something like that. They take the pack out and then pull one from another box, or Frankenstein put one together, or make the box with one less pack. So how does that,
Yeah, I don't know. It's
the hobby from when it was when we got back into the hobby a couple years ago to where it is now.
Yeah, 1819 is a completely different monster.
It is night and day. It's so much, it's all about the dollar. It's all about the greed. Like, I'm doing an Instagram deal right now, and it's like, why do we have to cut each other's legs so hard on cards and to make a deal? Like, if I straight up tell you what I bought the card for, like $100, and you offer me 40, and we're off eBay, we're off anything else, like, I don't care what comps are. Like, can we work a real deal?
Yeah. No, and part of that is and there's some other podcasts who've talked about this, and other people around the hobby has talked about it. There's market manipulation in these comps too. People who kind of bolster up the market with these inflated auction prices or auction sales because they don't want their stuff to go down, and they're trying to keep it afloat. And it's rough. It's rough because you're artificially inflating, what truly is the market. And I'll even go to say, even on the opposite side of things, there may not be a sale on a card in 4 months since June, but it's a very rare card. So it's not going to be worth the same if we're talking about Jalen Hurts. If Jalen Hurts, RPA to 5, flawless RPA to 5 came out and is on sale this week, it's not going to be the same as what it was in June. So and the same goes for, things that are just super ultra rare that you don't see every day.
Yep.
It's very much a market where it's become very volatile, not only in the sports cards themselves, but in the people. It's all about how can I get it for the cheapest amount of price and undercut people so that way I can make $1 off
profit
you.
for sure.
And the more you do that, the more you undercut each other, you're driving the markets down.
Mm-hmm.
So therefore, there's reason why the market kind of dips in that aspect. Plus, it doesn't help when auction houses who are making money off of you are selling the same cards every week or every other week. If there's too much supply out there and there's not enough demand, that's what you're going to see. You're going to see.
Look at the 86 Jordan.
Yeah.
We were buying that car for $800,000 in a PSA 10 2 years ago, and now you can get it for 130.
Yep. Yeah, and it's because there's been one for sale for
every week,
every other week for the past 2 years.
Real quick, shout out to my friends at Leaf Trading Cards. I just won 4 Tyson 2021 Leaf Pro Set Tyson Fury 101. What are they called? The pre-productions. So
cool.
Yeah. So I got a Tyson Fury Gold Wave, a Tyson Fury Prismatic Gold, a Tyson Fury Mojo Black, and a Tyson Fury Crystal Black. Yeah, I'm all in on Tyson Fury. Big dogs. So shout out to my guys at Leaf for great deals there.
Nice. So I think there's some good that you need to look at in the hobby. And there's other people, like if you're looking to make money, there's opportunities to make money in this hobby, even when the market's down. But the hobby was a hobby for a reason. It was meant to be about collectors. It wasn't meant to be about making money.
Yep.
And soon it's going to have the same effect as it did on sneakers in the sneaker market. It's going to be the same thing. So if you want to preserve the hobby and not make it as dry and brittle and corrupted, try and preserve the hobby for what it is.
Yep, for sure.
So, well, good episode. I'll let you get back to taking care of Wesley. I'm gonna watch the Avalanche play and probably watch football as well.
I'm watching my parlay bets of the Thursday night football game just go in the tank because the Carolina Panthers are up 10-0 right before
the
half.
Falcons?
Yeah, they're beating the Falcons.
Is it at home? Is it at Carolina?
It's at Carolina.
Oh my gosh.
I'll tell you, I need Cordell Patterson to have over 55 yards of rushing. I need Kyle Pitts to have 25 yards receiving, and Donta Foreman to have 50 yards of rushing. Donta Foreman has 0. So we're off to a good start. Let's hope and pray for the second half. Real quick, before we go, I'm getting my hands in the MMA game. I am co-promoting. Not really a promoter because I'm not licensed. So I have somebody that is licensed. That is the real promoter, Josh Griggs, promoting my first MMA event in Sullivan, Indiana. January 28th. There are 20 total fights on it right now, 4 title fights. It will be live on pay-per-view. If anybody is out there looking to sponsor us, feel free to shoot me a message and we can put a deal together that works for you. It's really not that expensive. So, if you can't check it, be there in live. We'll put the pay-per-view links up and just come support, these local amateur fighters. I say local. We got guys from Chicago, from Missouri, from Kentucky. Two of the guys on the main card are the number 1 ranked fighters in the Midwest. So it's going to be a good time.
Awesome.
Cool. All right. Well, until next time, our sponsors. We thank them all the time. We'll be back at it. Who knows? A month or two. We'll try to get.
We'll try next week.
We'll try next week. We'll try to get Josh on there. We'll talk a little World Cup soccer, how his card trading stuff is going on, because you got to know that he's probably pulling his hair off. For Neil and myself, this has been the Dream 3 podcast. Check us out on Apple, on Google, on Spotify, on YouTube. Until next time, we're out.